What's good, everybody? For those who don't know, my name is Fazon Gray, and this is my company, Live, Learn, Win. I've been modeling for the past 14 years. I've been acting for the past three, and I decided to create a foundation where I'm able to help children from similar communities as mine, become models, giving out workshops, giving tips on how to become freelancers and how to, find an extra source of income. So basically, I was inspired by doing this, because throughout the years I've had several managers and several agents, and I've stuck with a few. But I've found that I've, found the most work from just me booking my own work. Finding some gigs online, going to networking events, even meeting people in the train stations in New York City. So I just kind of feel like I can give all of these tips and tidbits to people, around the community, and I can hopefully uh, teach people through my experiences. Whew. Well, I've always kind of been into clothing. I've always kind of been into fashion. The modeling thing kind of came hand in hand. I landed my first gig when I was 17, a couple years ago. And my ex at the time, she had a family who was heavily into the fashion community, and they did these fashion shows. So I went to my first fashion show, sat in the audience, that they kind of plugged me in and said I had a look or whatever, and came in the next year and did my first photo shoot, my first fashion show, and I think I fell in love with it from first time I ever walked in the runway, the first time I ever heard the crowd scream or react to me walking. It's just kind of being around the atmosphere. It's just always kind of been a love of mine. Even walking on the block and your friends saying, "Hey, your sneakers look dope," or "Where'd you get that shirt from? Where'd you get that hat from?" And for me, it just essentially turned into a clothing brand. And I've been asked to start a clothing brand for a while, but this literally came to me in my dream. I dreamt of two L's that form into a W. So it basically you're turning your losses into wins. And the diamond is, eternal. So you'll eternally, live, learn, and win. Because even when you, pass on and you go on to a different world, whatever you've done to help others will still be around. The challenges that I expected are happening. So um, I've expected, the conversation with investors and them wanting to kind of undercut you and take a percentage of the company and sell it back to you later for a certain amount of money. I've experienced it from seeing it. I've always watched Shark Tank and stuff like that. I've even been to a conference with Damon, and I've kind of seen the interaction with people, and I kind of know no one will give you something for nothing. So as soon as you start off, it's always going to be more difficult. And I personally made a decision to not choose the investors who gave me a opportunity, because I felt like I want to have 100% of my company, and I will build it from the ground up, and eventually it will surpass whatever deal presented to me. I've noticed that when you have so many people around you, from through networking, from working, on set for so many years, and you connected with each other through events, just hanging out, having drinks or, having coffee and going through ideas and, plugging other people into things. You kind of reach out to those people and those friends, they become potential business partners as well, especially if they're in the same field. So a couple of my friends are designers, and one of my friends actually gives me a really good deal on just putting the logo on like different clothing and helping out with like fabrics and really, it's really helpful to have people in the same industry who like believe in you as much as you've shown that you believe in them. Because that goal is like, rewarded. And it's like, I don't do anything, to expect anything, but I, forget how many people I've looked out for. And now I'm starting to kind of like do those blessings, which is really appreciated and makes me feel like I'm on the right path, to do, what I'm doing right now. When you get to any level higher than where you started from, you should always remember the people who helped you along the way, whether it be, a counselor, from school who told you something positive and, stopped you from going down the wrong path, or, a teacher who, told you a motivational quote that stuck with you for life. And I always like kind of like pay that forward. So, I've always felt like I've heard over and over again, once you get to a certain point and you feel stuck, sometimes it's good to explore your roots. And not even like that I feel stuck, but I just felt like I just needed to feel like I'm doing more, and I'm not doing it. I always feel like I'm not doing enough, but, I'm always constantly working. I'm just like trying to like figure out ways to like give back, to my people. And, it may not be financially, but, with time and energy and, knowledge. Like, I think that's a really good way to get back. So I've actually been going back to, the Bronx and Harlem and lower income, communities, and just, speaking to the children, just telling them, like, just like what was told to me from mentors and, guest speakers, that, there's more out there than just what is around you. And I'm teaching them to kind of like be comfortable with the discomfort of, exploring new environments, because that's the only way that you'll be able to bring back anything to the community if you get out of it. I mean, definitely with anything, you're speaking to people, whether it be a podcast or a radio show, even like a one-on-one meeting, the more you speak, the more you use your voice, the more you're able to reiterate like what you're saying, and you're able to express certain things to, be different individuals, because like the more people you talk to and the more public speaking you do, I think the more people are able to understand like where you're coming from, and the more you're able to understand the viewers and, you're like readers, if you're like the journalist, or, if you're writing books. Like, I think it's always good to have like feedback as well. So like if there's like any like, questions or any, suggestions, like I'm always open to like positive and negative feedback. And I do that with the kids as well. So like, one of the kids actually told me that I should have stayed longer. And then I saw a few other kids like kind of like sneaking into the back of the classroom when they were supposed to be in different classes. And it was just like, kind of just reassuring that I'm doing something that like God has called me to do. So with Live, Learn, Win, I wanted to be something where you was able to learn and were able to engage. For me, especially in the world of social media, like Instagram and TikTok and all this other stuff, there's so many things that are based on engagement. The best content is based on engagement. So I definitely want to, bring information about what I do, about what I've been doing, for over the past decade, about like, future ideas, about like, movies, about shows that I'll be doing. Like I'll show like, previews, I'll show behind the scenes stuff. But I also want to bring other people and other models, other actors, other actresses. Like if there's a viewer who is, plus size, and he or she is interested, or they are interested in somebody who's like-minded, or who looks like them and who's successful, And I want to do like the research and find, either friends or find people who they can relate to so they can show that there's a different path of success for them. Because I feel like everybody, can live, learn, and win. The thing about live, learn, win is that it's a lifestyle. So it directly has to do with everything that I kind of like think of, which is, like fitness, it's fashion, it's luxury. Also, there will be different branches. So there's the clothing, there are the online workshops, and there are the speaking engagements. So for the workshops, I actually will have like different models coming in and speaking to different people, and I want to have like basically like online videos where you can click, on your body type, your gender that you specify with, whatever you kind of feel like you can relate to, and that's exactly why I need people to engage, because the more people are saying, hey, I'm not like this, I'm like this, that those are the more types of people that I can bring in, but I basically want every type of person who is successful at what they do, to be able to speak to other people who, may look similar to them or may sound similar to them. So the company is very big on diversity, and I've thrown a bunch of networking parties and events and stuff like that, and you can see the diversity in the world, from everybody to white, Asian, Indian, Asian, little people, big people. Like, so there's no discrimination within anything, and everybody can find their success in some type of way. The best way to contact me, I would say, is my email, which is Fazon, Fazon, model, MODEL, @gmail.com, or my Instagram at Fazon Gray. And I'm always, reachable. With Instagram, it gets a little crazy with the DMs and stuff, but I always take a day out to respond and reach out to people, and I engage frequently with my followers. So I would like to say I am extremely, extremely grateful to everybody who tuned in. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to creating more content and hopefully helping you and the people around you live, learn, and win.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient Nasset. Nasset increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.